Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Dallas Meditation Center and the Awakening Heart community of mindful living. Today is Sunday, November the 8th, and really glad some of you have joined us. Some of you have already checked in the check-in window, and when I move my head like that, you get a flash of light. There we go, it's the halo. Okay, so, well, glad you could all join us. Hope you're having a good day and that it's been a good weekend. It's been beautiful here. And if you're here for the first time, welcome. If you just found us searching on YouTube, either tonight, seeing us live, or sometime later in the archives, I'm glad you could join us. So hang around tonight. It's an easy practice of meditation and a talk, and just follow along. And please do check in the chat window if you would. It's nice to know when other people have joined us. But let's begin with our opening affirmation. And if you know it, you can say it along with us. Noble community, we gather here now to honor the way of peace and nonviolence, the way of wisdom and compassion, the way of joy and beauty.
In solidarity with one another, with all humanity, and with all life on earth.
Friends on the path, we gather here now to deepen our solidity like a mountain and to renew our freshness like a flower.
Through mindful sitting and walking,
mindful singing and breathing, and mindful speaking and listening. Family of awakening, we gather here now to celebrate the one infinite light that shines through many religions and many cultures, to cultivate the wisdom of our many teachers, both ancestral and contemporary, and to affirm the capacity within ourselves and all persons of every race, gender, orientation, and tradition to realize full and complete enlightenment. So my name is Cornell, and I will be co-facilitating with Bobby. Jennifer will lead us in a guided meditation, and Nick will do the talk tonight. And hello to John, bowing in from Oak Cliff. Ellen says, bowing in from Grapevine. And Michael bows to all. Catherine bowing in also. And Dee, hi everyone, nice to see you. Well, welcome to all of you. And you can continue checking in the chat window if you like. And just a reminder that after our talk and meditation, we will be gathering on Zoom for sharing and discussion. So that's later on. And I will put the link in the chat window so you'll know where to go on Zoom. And a few more people have checked in. Hello, Tina. Hello, Shireen. Good to see you all. So sit back and enjoy your evening.
Hello, everyone. Welcome again. My name is Bobby, and I'm so happy to be here and to see that so many people have joined us. It looks like Tina has joined us from Wilmington, North Carolina. Woohoo! I had a request that we sing one of our practice songs that says, "We are all the leaves of one tree." And then the next verse is, "We are all the waves of one sea." And then, "We are all the stars of one sky." And then at the end, we sort of combine them. So if you remember it, I hope you'll sing with me. And maybe we'll do it twice so that if you don't know it, you can sing it the second time. Leaves might be like this, just to give you a clue. Waves, stars. I don't know, I'm just making this up. Make up your own motions, but whatever helps us to remember the words. We are all the leaves of one tree. We are all the waves of one sea. The time has come for all of us to live as one. We are all the leaves of one tree. Okay, I'm going to start over because I did it wrong. You say leaves every time in the first verse. So the time has come for all of us to live as one. We are all the leaves of one tree. We are all the leaves of one tree. We are all the leaves of one tree. The time has come for all of us to live as one. We are all the leaves of one tree. Waves. We are all the waves of one sea. We are all the waves of one sea. The time has come for all of us to live as one. We are all the waves of one sea. Stars. We are all the stars of one sky. We are all the stars of one sky. The time has come for all of us to live as one. We are all the stars of one sky. Now we put it together. We are all the leaves of one tree. We are all the waves of one sea. The time has come for all of us to live as one. We are all the stars of one sky. Thank you. I made everybody laugh because I get the words mixed up again. All right. It's good to have fun. You know, we need to laugh at least once a day. And I want to invite the bell so that we can kind of collect ourselves and breathe together. So we've been joined again by a few more people. Julie Ryan bows to you all, grateful for a walk in the fall leaves. Sounds nice. Luis is bowing in, and Neil Abramson welcomes all of us. So thank you all, and continue to sign in if you like, and give us a thumbs up if you're not already part of this particular group. Go ahead and sign in. Obviously in this format, when we're working online, we can't do walking meditation together. And so we'll just go to the sitting meditation, which Jennifer will invite. And while you're listening to the meditation, you can enjoy our little altar.
Cornell.
plug in here. Okay. All right, everybody. Welcome. And just before we begin to sit, I just invite you to stretch a little bit, move your body, and let yourself just breathe and move a little bit, and then begin to gently find the seat that you would like. And do want you to take a moment to check inside with yourself and see, what is it that you need this evening? Do you need to sit? Does it feel right to sit and present yourself in a sort of a noble sitting position, either cross-legged or with your legs underneath you? Or would you prefer to stand even? Maybe you're in the mood to do a standing meditation. Or perhaps you're fatigued and would like to rest, and so that you can lay down. And so a big part of our practice is learning to check in with ourselves to see what it is that we need and where we're at any given moment, because that changes. So just noticing that within yourself and making the adjustments that you need for you in this moment. And I also noticed that it was a very beautiful day today, and that can tend to lift people's spirits. And so you may be coming to this practice tonight with a happy heart, like Julie, having sort of skipped in the leaves and the fall leaves. But sometimes, even if it's a beautiful day, we have a heavy heart, and we may have other things on our minds, um, and there's a conflict between what the day is offering and how we're feeling, and that's okay too. So I just want you to give yourself permission to show up on the mat, sitting, standing, laying down, just the way you are. Just bringing wherever you're at right now to the mat and just allowing it to be so. And lastly, just setting your intention for the practice. We talked a little bit about this last week. Just taking a moment to set an intention. Today we are going to be working with interconnection and specifically with the air element. So you may make your intention just to be alert to the guidance that you're getting in this meditation. And of course, if you check in with yourself and you want to be just really silent, then just mute me and have your own practice, and then come back in after we're done. So it's all okay, just checking in with yourself and what you need, and setting your own personal intention here right now. And now begin to get cozy, settle into your body. Allow yourself to feel the earth underneath you, solid and holding you, no matter what position you've taken. But whatever part of you is connecting with the earth, I suggest you just bring your attention there and allow your body to notice that contact, and to just let your body be held. And if you're sitting or standing, just having your shoulders over your waist, with your spine not too taut but not too relaxed, just somewhere in the middle. Shoulders reaching down, the crown of your head reaching up, and your chin slightly tucked. And begin to notice where the air touches your skin. Notice it on your hands, your face, or any part of your body that's exposed to the air. And notice whether the air touching your skin feels warm or cool. Is it moving or is it still? And of course, always notice the air as it enters your body, the nostril, and exits your body, bringing your attention to the air at your nostril, noticing the temperature of the air in your inhale and the temperature of the air in your exhale. Can you feel the cool air flowing into the nose, down through the throat, filling your lungs, and then the warmer air flowing in the opposite direction, moving out of the body? Becoming aware of the meeting of the body with the air. Noticing the air both inside the body and outside the body. This air surrounds us intimately. We can feel it on our skin. We can feel it entering and leaving the body as we breathe. We experience this air as the wind. We see it moving clouds and leaves of trees. We see it moving grasses and making waves on water. And this is the same air as that's inside of us. It fills our lungs, dissolves into the bloodstream, and enters every cell in the body and keeps us alive. The air that enters us is just flowing through us. It's borrowed from the universe, and it returns to the universe after flowing through us. And this is true for other elements, the earth element. Everything solid within us is borrowed and flows through us. The water element, the liquid within us, flows through the body as we borrow it from the world. And the fire element, our energy, also is borrowed and must be returned. So we tend to think of ourselves as separate from the rest of the world, but reflecting in this way, we can see that we are intimately connected with the rest of creation. We are connected to all living things, part of the great cycle of the elements as we borrow and return the physical elements of earth, water, fire, and air. So continuing your breathing, flowing in and out, and appreciating a sense of interconnection, seeing ourselves as intimately connected with all of life. Enjoy breathing the air in and out of your body and feeling the air on your body, feeling the connection with all of life.
May all beings be happy. May all beings be free. May all beings be joyful. May all beings be at peace. Brahma Vihara Maitri. Brahma Vihara Karuna. Brahma Vihara Mudita. Brahma Vihara Upeksha. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free. May all beings be joyful. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be at peace.
Oh, thank you, Jennifer. That was lovely. I think it's always good to be reminded of our origins. We are truly earth creatures. So it's time for us to do our refuge chant. And so just either say with me or think. We're going to give refuge, take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, the three jewels of our practice. Just say a word or two about that. Our practice is most complete when it includes all three of those jewels. When we remember the teachings of the Buddha, when we practice the teachings, and when we work together with a community. That's when our practice is the strongest, the most powerful, and has the most benefit for ourselves and everyone else. We take refuge in the Buddha, the awakening heart of infinite light, that which shows us the way in this life. We take refuge in the Dharma, the awakening path of infinite light, the way of understanding and of love. We take refuge in the Sangha, the awakening community of infinite light, those who live in harmony and awareness. So this month our theme is walking together. And last week I talked about walking together in harmony, recognizing our togetherness. And this week, and I should say, there was some emphasis on the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, because that is the foundational teaching. That is, when we're walking together on that path, we are truly together. So tonight, Nick is going to talk to us about walking together and pursuing another aspect of the Noble Eightfold Path, which is right livelihood. So I'm going to pass around to Nick and look forward to hearing what he has to share.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nick. Sometimes it's easier if I start with saying the obvious things. My name is Nick. I'm here in this moment. And today I'm talking about walking together, walking the path of right livelihood. So today, I hope I can share a few insights or ideas that might help us to contemplate what right livelihood might look like for us. And so first, the idea of right, the word right sticks out to me as something to kind of address. Some people have a problem with the idea of right and wrong. When I think of right livelihood, I think of another way of putting it might be wholesome and unwholesome livelihood. When I think of wholesome livelihood, I think of like a circle. So I think something is wholesome if you would be okay with giving and receiving that action. And something is unwholesome if you're giving an action to someone and you wouldn't be okay receiving that yourself, an action or a product or a service. And so right livelihood, I might talk about it as wholesome livelihood or right livelihood, involves ways of making money, making your livelihood. So it could involve a career. For many people, it involves career pursuits. To me, this seems to be a really important question. What are we to do with the time that we have on this earth, the limited time we have on this earth? In America, and I think in most places in the world, one's career, one's profession determines the amount of time that they'll spend in the most fruitful years of their life, and also just the bulk of their time in each day is what they will be doing. And so let's turn to Thich Nhat Hanh for some ideas on what right livelihood means. He said, to find right livelihood, you have to find a way to earn your living without transgressing your ideals of love and compassion. The way to support yourself can be an expression of your deepest self, or it can be a cause of suffering for yourself and other people. I really like that quote. Finding a path to walk which involves not transgressing your ideals of love and compassion. To me, that really hits with wholesome action, wholesome livelihood. If I'm acting from a state of love and compassion for all beings, I think it's much more likely that I would be happy with receiving one of those services if I were on the other side of it. If I'm acting from a place which ignores those ideals and which can seem pretty meaningless, I'm not sure if I would be okay with receiving some of those products and services. And so in my personal life, I have been in places where I felt the work was very meaningless, and I didn't really know what exactly I was doing. The only thing I knew was that I could do it pretty quickly and I was fast at it, and it was making some money. And so on the outside, externally, my finances were taken care of. That felt good. But internally, I just felt off. Every day I would kind of walk into work and wonder, why am I here? I'm spending 8 hours of my day here from sunrise to sunset, basically working this job that I really don't believe in. That's pretty meaningless to me. And it would be difficult if I was the only one feeling that way, but I could tell that many other people in the industry also felt that same way. They would walk into work on Mondays and say, oh God, another Monday. And I could feel just this heaviness in the way that they worked and the way that they talked about their work. And I kind of just had this moment of like, I can't continue to do this. I want to find a way of being that I can look forward to. And I believe I've found that, or at least part way found it. And I think that many other people can find it as well if they look for it. I think if you look for a way of being that involves something you truly love doing, you will find it. Yeah. If you seek it, you will find it. And so sometimes it takes courage to move in the direction and to give yourself permission to stop doing the things that really kind of wear you out and seem completely meaningless to you. So, yeah, I have some stories and things I'll share throughout this talk that might continue to illuminate this. But one thing that I really enjoy is a quote from Alan Watts. I don't know if many of you know who that is, but oftentimes young college students would come to him when they were straight out of college and ask him, Alan, what should we do with our lives? And that's a really big question to ask someone. And so he would hear all these ideas from these students. He would say to them, if money were no object, what would you do? And they would say things like, well, I enjoy writing. I enjoy riding horses. I enjoy painting. I enjoy all kinds of different things. But that doesn't make any money, is the thing they would say. And he would answer them, do the thing that you really want to do and don't worry about the money. Perhaps if you seek out the thing that you really enjoy doing and seek to become a master at that thing and to develop that skill, maybe the money will come anyways. The money will come along as you seek out that path of really enjoying what you do every day. And so he said, if you say that money is the most important thing, you will spend your life doing things you don't like doing in order to keep living. That is, to keep on doing the things you don't like doing. Wow, that's a pretty bleak picture. So I think sometimes it's black and white. Sometimes it is, I'm doing this thing to make money that I really dislike. Other times you can do things you love and be making money. So it's kind of about the person kind of contemplating as they walk their own journey to discover their intentions in what they're doing. So, yeah. Another thing I kind of want to distinguish about the path of right livelihood, sometimes there's a saying, just go do what you love or go follow your passion. And so then what tends to happen sometimes is people will go out and they'll start doing something they're excited about. And once that feeling of excitement kind of fades and passes away, they think, I don't want to do this anymore. And they kind of jump to another thing over and over, continually jumping. And so I don't think that's necessarily beneficial either. I think it's important to submit oneself to a discipline and find a craft or some kind of skill that you can bring into the world that is something that you believe in, something you believe can really be of benefit to the world. Albert Schweitzer was a famous doctor, and he was one of the people on the frontier of Doctors Without Borders, traveling internationally and offering his medical services for free to people in Africa. And he said, the happiest among you will be those who have found a way to serve. And I really like that quote. The happiest among you will be those who have found a way to serve. So that's kind of what happened on my journey. When I began to consider my intention of what kind of people do I want to serve, what kind of ways do I want to help others in the world, that's when things started to become a bit more clear for me and a bit less meaningless. And that alleviated a lot of stress from my life. Now when I go to work, things are much less stressful. Things can be difficult. I can have really difficult days, really kind of distressing days which kind of wear me down sometimes. But because I know that I'm doing something meaningful and I'm really contributing in a way that I can feel inspired about, it causes me less stress. To me, it feels much more stressful to be engaged in things that I really feel no connection to. And yeah, so this can be a difficult question to answer for some people. I was reading about how in the world in the past, things were kind of much more clear with what people were creating and what they were bringing into the world. Before the industrial age, young people would often work with their parents, and they would learn a craft and they would do an apprenticeship, and they would be very clear on what kind of things they were doing in the world and what crafts they were learning. These were crafts that would be brought down from generation to generation that they could be proud of doing and bringing into the world. And then when the industrial age happened, it kind of created more separation between what people are doing and kind of different tasks where people were less certain about what they were doing. Okay. And so I feel like I'm kind of drifting here a little bit. So let me go back to the main point. Let me just repeat that quote from before. To find right livelihood, you have to find a way to earn your living without transgressing your ideals of love and compassion. The way you support yourself can be an expression of your deepest self, or it can be a source of suffering for yourself and others. Thich Nhat Hanh goes on to say, if someone has a profession that causes living beings to suffer and oppresses others, it will infect their own consciousness, just as when we pollute the air that we ourselves have to breathe. Earlier in this meditation, we sang a song that had to do with how we are all the leaves of one tree. And that element of oneness sometimes can be difficult to understand on the personal level. But I think when people get involved in a profession or a career or a way of being that does cause harm and suffering to other people, you yourself will suffer as well, because we are connected. It's hard to be disconnected from the things you're doing in your daily life without suffering some consequences. And so, there's also the quote, some people get rich by wrong livelihood, says Thich Nhat Hanh. And I read this other kind of beautiful Buddhist quote about how it might be great for a very wealthy man to look back and say, wow, how great, I've made all this money. But then to kind of consider that the money was made by doing things that were not wholesome actions. I think it can be kind of difficult to live with a conscience like that. So I've said many things today during this talk. I hope that some of them have hit and made some sense to people. Doing things that don't transgress those ideals of love and compassion is an important thing, and that is one thing that constitutes right livelihood. I'm going to close with a poem from The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. It's one of my favorite books of poetry, and in it, there's a chapter where the people ask the prophet Khalil Gibran about work. And they say, teach us about work. So this is what he says. Work is love made visible. And if you cannot work with love, but only with distaste, it is better that you should leave your work and sit at the gate of the temple and take alms of those who work with joy. For if you bake bread with indifference, you bake a bitter bread that feeds but half man's hunger. And if you grudge the crushing of the grapes, your grudge distills a poison in the wine. And if you sing though as angels and love not the singing, you muffle man's ears to the voices of the day and the sounds of the night. And what is it to work with love? He goes on to ask. It is to weave the cloth with threads drawn from your heart, even as if your beloved were to wear that cloth. It is to build a house with affection, even as if your beloved were to dwell in that house. It is to sow seeds with tenderness and reap the harvest with joy, even as if your beloved were to eat the fruit. It is to charge all things you fashion with the breath of your own spirit. Love is work made visible. So sometimes compassion can be the way of substituting the person on the other end with someone that you love, that you genuinely love. Would you do this thing for your child if you are, or your loved one, or someone that you care deeply about? If you are making a shirt, make it with your complete mind centered on it. If you are a janitor, clean the floors as if you'll be hosting a community of people that you really love and care for in that space. If you're washing dishes, focus your whole mind on it as if you will be serving this dish to someone that you deeply care about. I think if we can do that, and Neil, I think if we can do that and center our minds completely on our task at hand and do things with an attitude of love and compassion, we'll be walking down the path of right livelihood. Neil asks, what's the name of that poem? And it's from the book, The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. So that's all I have for you today. I look forward to seeing you all on Zoom, and thank you for listening.
Oh, thank you so much, Nick. Wonderful talk and good insights, I think. What I thought also about Joseph Campbell saying, follow your bliss. But yeah, and sometimes it's easier to say than to do, but I really feel that given enough focus and concentration, it is entirely possible for us to do the things we love and support ourselves. John also asked about the name of the poem, but you've already said that, but I'll say it again. It's The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. So we're going to move to Zoom now and invite all of you to join us there. I'm sure there are many things that we want to say about the talk, and maybe some questions that you have. One thing I think about is, for me personally, my livelihood for a good bit of my life was something I really loved to do, which was teaching. And then things shifted, and not because necessarily I changed my mind, but circumstances change, conditions change. So that's another thing I think is important to remember, that everything is impermanent. And so even what you love to do may change and probably will. So then we continue to just follow that path of, as Nick said, love and compassion. And that will take us in the right direction. So let's go to Zoom, and we will complete our evening there with the closing chant and sharing the merit. So come see us on Zoom and share with us. You'll find the Zoom link in the chat box.
In stream.
Well done. Well done, team.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Nice talk.